You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another episode of the Locked On Rays podcast. My name is Ulises Sambrano, and I'm currently in Fukuoka, Japan, and Kevin Weiss is probably sleeping because time zones. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. Make sure to follow us and subscribe to any other podcast platform, especially on YouTube at Locked On Rays. And guess what? If you're on YouTube right now, hit that like button, because when you do that, you're helping us beat the algorithm and find more Rays fans that can like this content like you do too. Okay, Rays fans. Whew. What a weekend. What a weekend. I know everybody's probably on edge because that's what happens when you play, interdivisional games, especially against the Yankees, especially against the Red Sox, and this year against the Orioles. Tensions flare up, and that's exactly what happened on Sunday. And it was to be seen, with how the game was going, the back and forth. But before I get to that, let's kind of like have little chunks here of the game on Friday. What can you do when Garrett Cole is on? I mean, is there are not a lot of other pitchers that can do what Garrett Cole can do. That's why he gets paid the amount that he does. I am not upset about, the way that most of it was handled. My one thing was, I don't believe that one run is chasing. I just will never subscribe to that. If you're losing by one run, that's not chasing. That's just a swing away. Anybody can hit a home run off of anybody. Christian Bethancourt could go deep. Pinto could go deep. Basabe could go deep. Anybody can go deep once. Against Garrett Cole, it doesn't matter. Oh, are the odds down? Yeah, but they exist. So first, that's my first thing is when you're losing by one run, I am not. I will never subscribe to the. Oh, you're chasing, so let's punt the game. I don't subscribe to that. So they put Trevor Kelly in, who is the last man on the bullpen, and this is the part that I don't get either. It's the seventh inning. You're not gonna throw Zack Eflin. He's over 100. He did his job. Zack Eflin did his job. So you cannot ask more of Zack. So anybody who's saying, "Oh, you put Eflin again," no, you're wrong. He did his job. The problem is Trevor Kelly's not that guy. Why? Because you're essentially telling the Yankees that you're just too scared, that you're just giving away the game. Against the top of the lineup, you're going to put your last man of the bullpen in Trevor Kelly? How does that make sense? And it doesn't make sense even further. If you want to say, yeah, it makes sense because, he can have the whole rest of the game. Well, he didn't. Jake Diekman had to be used. So my argument is, if you ended up having to use Jake Diekman, and Jake Diekman was available to pitch, why wasn't he available to pitch in the seventh? I don't care about. There's no way that you can tell me that Trevor Kelly against the top of the lineup is a better matchup than Jake Diekman. You can show me as many numbers as you can. The fact that this guy's a veteran in Jake Diekman and has faced the Yankees before in Yankee Stadium, in Fenway Park, that beats any, in a 5-game sample size or in a 5 at-bat sample size, Trevor Kelly is beating him by opposing it. I don't care. Because, by the way, I just don't care. So if you ended up using Diekman, it seems silly to not use him in the seventh. Now, if you want to punt in the 8th or the 9th, fine. Okay. That's a little bit more understandable. But in the 7th, the game was still there. So I don't understand that. And, Jake Diekman wasn't the only guy that could have pitched. Robert Stevenson, who has been phenomenal this season. Phenomenal for the Rays. Tremendous get. He hadn't pitched since Tuesday. And on Tuesday, he pitched 11 pitches. So 2 days rest, from not an arduous outing, and he wasn't available. Again, this is coming from as an audience. Kevin Cash might know Dick Diekman had the runs, and he could not pitch in the 7th, and he got better by the 9th. Robert Stevenson just had a little bit of a sore whatever and said, hey, you know what, coach, you really shouldn't put me in the game today. We don't know those things. Only Kevin Cash and company know that. But from the outside looking in, it does seem kind of odd that Jake Diekman can pitch the 9th and not the 7th. Why? So that's my only big thing from Friday night's game. But honestly, when it's Garrett Cole, it's Garrett Cole. Like, I mean, I know we don't like him, but we don't like him because he's really good. We don't like him because he's really, really good. That's I saw on, I don't remember which, I think it was either Twitter. I think it must have been Twitter, where I saw somebody said something like, where's G-Man Choi when you need him? Yeah, well, and that's pretty true. You do need those guys, but that wasn't the focus of the weekend. Then on Saturday, there is comeback, and you love that. You love that Tyler Glasnow becomes that stopper. He just shoves, only one hit allowed, and he himself said he was effectively wild. That he didn't really know where some pitches were going, and yet he was having some success. He said that the slutter was his best pitch, has been his best pitch, that he's been using it more and more often, and you could see that Yankee hitters were just didn't have any success. In fact, they didn't have any success against the whole bullpen. The Rays only allowed 2 hits on Saturday, and there were amazing key hits on Saturday as well. They went 3-0. Nice to see Basabe this weekend contributing. It's good to see him having that stability there at shortstop. Good for him. I think those are my biggest takeaways from Friday and Saturday's game, because it was a good way to come back from what they saw. But before I get to Sunday's affair, which I know you guys all want to talk about that, I got to tell you first about Dave. And if you don't know what Dave is, well, Dave is the banking app that's leveling the financial playing field. When you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. It's all part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money you need with no interest and then settle up later. You can download Dave today at dave.com/MLB. That's dave.com/MLB. You could get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. You can also download the app now instead of going to the website, whichever one you prefer. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Okay, so Sunday's game. Where do we start with this? I'm like you, feeling, well, I can't generalize. I can speak only about myself. I feel this sort of impotence when I keep seeing Rays hitters get hit with no consequence. The Yankees have hit the Rays 12 times in 2023. The Rays have only hit 2 Yankees. So that's a difference of 10. And let me say this. They are doing it the right way. They're taking the high road. I understand that. They're not getting in fights and possibly getting somebody injured when they need everybody to be healthy right now. This team does not need more injuries for trying to fight somebody, a brawl or whatever it is. They don't need that. And so they're doing the right thing. And the pitchers are doing the right thing by not instigating a brawl or anything like that by retaliating. Having said that they are doing the right thing, I still have some impotence here. I still feel like I need something back. And that's that. I know that the players are feeling that, and I know that the coaches feel that, and I know many of you feel that way too. But they're doing it the right way. They're showing up on the field. And I want to read this quote. This quote by Brandon Lowe made that impotence kind of lower. And myself, Brandon Lowe said to Trisha Whitaker after the game, he said, "Looking at it, it's a last place team against a team that's in contention. They're just trying to ignite something over there. Not worth our time at this moment. We're focused on bigger things right now." If I could give you a standing ovation right now, Brandon, I would. If I could clap without this mic falling down, I would. Tremendous quote. Tremendous quote. And he's right. I mean, the Yankees have only won one series since the start of July. One. Uno. All right. For the French-speaking fans of this show. That's the fewest series wins of any team in that span. They're a bad team. The Yankees are a bad team. Are you going to get into a scuffle with them when you have bigger things to worry about? No, you shouldn't. So again, they did the right thing by not engaging, but of course there's some. You do want that. You do want a Littell. You do want a, Stevenson, whoever, Jake Diekman, to say, hey, stop doing that. We can do that too. And I am sick and tired of that whole thing of like, well, why would they hit Randy Arozarena and put the leadoff man on board when they're already losing by 2 runs? Oh, I forgot that human beings were rational and did calculations while on the mound saying, well, yeah, this would be a bad. No, they're human beings. They're human beings, and they're ticked off. They're ticked off. They're going to hit somebody. I'm tired of that rhetoric of like, well, it really doesn't make sense to hit somebody on purpose here because then you have this situation. No, that doesn't matter. When a human being gets ticked off and he has the ability to throw 95-mile-an-hour projectile, they will, and they do. So I hate that. That's the one thing I hate about play-by-play guys. Michael Kay said it, and on the because of course I wanted to see what the Yankees were saying about it. And they brought that whole like, well, it doesn't make sense sort of thing. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These pitchers are not rational beings and all the time. They're human beings. So that's, I just don't. Well, it doesn't make sense. That doesn't matter to them sometimes. And Abreu has done that twice now against Randy Arozarena. And Arozarena has done his signature move. He kind of clowned them. Getting to second, then third, and then scoring on that. Did his arm crossing thing, which is awesome, which is great. Like that. And he did it to his team, to his clubhouse, to his dugout. He wasn't showing them up. And maybe they take offense to that. That happened in Yankee Stadium too. Remember when he hit a home run? He did his move, and then boom, a couple innings later, he gets plunked. So you can't say that none of those were intentional. You can't say that 12 hit batsmen against 2 is just a fluke. None of those were intentional. None of those 12 were intentional. Be serious. But you can't ask a franchise like the Yankees to be serious because they're a clown show. That's what they are. They're a clown show. And they've demonstrated that in this whole 2023 season. They have. So, I mean, they had a guy like Anthony Rizzo playing with a concussion, for God's sakes, for a couple months. It's a clown show organization. They had Josh Donaldson on the 60-day IL, and then like 2 days later, the dude's taking batting practice like nothing ever happened, and then says, no, they never consulted me on putting me on the 60-day IL. It's a clown show organization. So what can you expect? For them to be rational and not hit a Rays player because it doesn't make sense there? I don't think so. But ultimately, the Rays get the win. They needed the series, and they shrink the AL East lead down to 2, as the Colorado Rockies were kind of helpful and won on Sunday's affair, even though they could have won a couple more games there. Rockies, you could have done that, but I guess you also could have done that against the Rays, and you didn't. So there's that. So let's talk about the AL East lead and what that means for the Rays going forward for the next 2.5 weeks. But before we get to that, people, I need to talk to you about Sleeper. Okay, Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world. Over 5 million active users in 2022, while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. At Sleeper, it's not just about sports, it's about building personal connections and lasting memories. So swing for the fences on Sleeper picks. You could win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code Locked On, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. You can predict the hottest baseball stats like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and much more to cash in on your daily baseball skills. Use promo code Locked On, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. So you can do anything you want. You can win up to 100 times your payments. You can place in-game contests, and you can have more stat categories to place contests like home runs, triples, or stolen bases. So today, download Sleeper. Okay, so before we talk about the AL East, let me have a little bit of coffee, please. Oh, that is so disappointing. Instant coffee at a hotel is just as disappointing as you think it's going to be. My goodness, that's bad. Oh, and yet I need another sip, people. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, no, not good, but needed. Okay, so talking about the AL East. Okay, let's start with the good news. It's down to 2 games. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. I'm here to give you a little preview on why it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies. Okay. The next 5 series that the Rays will play are against the Miami Marlins, the Cleveland Guardians, the Boston Red Sox, the Seattle Mariners, and the Minnesota Twins. Those 5 series. Why am I pointing that out, these 5 next series? Because then they go to Baltimore, and they will play a 4-gamer against the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. So when you look at those 5 series, and you look at, okay, how easy are these contenders or non-contenders to play against? The Miami Marlins, have they struggled since the All-Star break? Yes. Are they still in playoff hopes? They are. So are they a playoff contention team? Yes. Miami Marlins. Cleveland Guardians, probably not. Boston Red Sox, we're happy that you're not. Seattle Mariners, they're tied for first in the AL West. Remember the big bad Texas Rangers? Remember the big bad Houston Astros? Well, the Seattle Mariners are there. So I would say yes. They're most definitely a playoff contention team. or playoff contending team. And then the Minnesota Twins, who are, of course, first in that very much mediocre AL Central division. So out of those 5 teams, you got the Marlins, you got the Mariners, and you've got the Twins. 3 out of the 5 are playing good ball. Or not playing good ball, but they are looking at October as a possibility, as a real possibility. Now, if you check out what the Orioles have in those 5 series before the Rays series, it's not great, people. They've got the Chicago White Sox, another clown show organization, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have just free fall since basically the Rays played them, the Los Angeles Angels. We all wish we could see you in October because of Shohei and Trout, but that ain't happening. So you're gone. Boston Red Sox, again, we are happy that you're not going to October. And then the St. Louis Cardinals. What happened there? You gone. So you look at all those 5 series, and the best team is the Red Sox, really. I mean, if you put the Red Sox against the Diamondbacks, I would take the Red Sox as a better team. I would. The problem is the Red Sox play in the AL East. Simple as that. In the AL East, there's no Colorado Rocky team. So this is why the AL East being a 2 is it's nice, but it's up to the Rays for these next 5 series to keep playing really good ball. Why? Because it's going to be very easy for the Orioles to just beat out these other teams. They've got it in them. And I know before the ultra positive crowd gets on me about Felix Bautista being out or hurt, is that going to be a difference maker? Of course it is. But is it going to be that much of a difference maker against these sorts of quality teams? Do you really need Felix Bautista against the Cardinals if you're the Orioles? Against the White Sox? Against the Angels? Maybe. Let's hope that that's the case. That they see that run differential magic that they've shown all season to just kind of be a fluke and start to falter. If you guys don't know, the Rays have a run differential of plus 174, while the Baltimore Orioles have a plus 86. So it's going to be tough. What you need to hope really is the Rays keep it at 2. If they're able to and somehow are able to drop that to 1 before the Baltimore series, I mean, that's the best case scenario there for them to keep it a 1, and then in that 4-game series you take it. That's it. But again, the Rays have not played really well against the Orioles this season. Just quick, because I thought I had it and I don't. I want to see the matchup this year against the Orioles. I believe it was 3 wins and 6 losses against Baltimore. Yes, that's exactly it. Good memory, Uli. 3 wins, 6 losses against Baltimore. So 4-gamer. Can you sweep? That would be ridiculous. If you win 3, that would be the best case scenario. But again, head-to-head matchups count for the division now. There's no game 163, folks. So if push comes to shove and you're tied and the Orioles won the season series and you're tied at the end of the season, they win the division. It's gonna be fun. I hope you enjoyed this weekend. this whole week of Rays baseball has been great. The Rays have been playing really good ball lately. It's good to see. They need it. We need it as a fandom. We need to distract ourselves from all those crappy news that we've been getting lately. But yeah, they beat the Guardians series. They beat the Giants series. They beat the Anaheim series. They swept the Rockies. They win against the Yankees. It's been good so far. It's been good. It's been very good lately. So let's hope for that to continue. Again, tomorrow you will get Kevin Weiss going solo, hand solo. We're doing a mailbag app, which sucks because there are really good questions there that I wanted to answer, but I won't be able to. Darn it. And there's a couple of interviews that we have set up, and we will also be showcasing them hopefully this week. And that's the plan. Kevin on Tuesday, a mailbag, then Wednesday, Thursday, an interview that Kevin did last week. That should be fun. You guys enjoy this guy when he's on the show. So that should be a lot of fun. And we will have somebody else very soon. I'm not going to say who, but you guys are going to like this. And it's kind of on our alley of interviews that we have done in the past. And so we're very excited about having him on the show. Well, thank you again for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. We really, really appreciate all of you for subscribing, for commenting on YouTube. The comments on YouTube have been amazing, by the way, lately. Like, you guys are on it, and I really appreciate that. It's really fun to interact with you guys on there, to read it, to read what you guys think. And I believe that there's now some like rapport and community within the channel. I mean, you guys have never seen each other, but you have interacted with each other on the comment section, on the comment board on YouTube. And I feel like that's amazing. Like, bringing Rays fans together. That's what we're doing with this show. And that's a lovely thing to see. So keep doing those comments. And if you've never commented before, get on the action. Get on there. Everybody's there. Not everybody that's on there is nice. Most of them are nice. Some are snarky, which, that you can have some snark. That's okay. Having some snark is good. Just as long as you're not insulting anybody, then I think it's all free game. And I think we've tried to push that motion forward, and everybody's been pretty cool about doing that. So thank you all. Keep doing that. Love reading them and hopefully interacting with you more and more. So thank you. I hope you guys stay safe. I will be also staying safe and enjoying my time in the future, because I know what happens before you do, because I'm in Japan. Okay. Thank you all. Have a good day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.